Hello again, y'all. It is everybody's favorite Goth BF, TenTillDeath, and this video is going to be a little bit more personal. It's going to be a little bit more touchy, and if you're watching this, on this day, 2 years ago, I was supposed to die. And so this isn't any normal video that we're doing. This is going to be a commemoration video. And so viewer discretion is heavily advised before we get into this. For any people that have, tried to take their life at one point, comment your stories below. I want to, hear what you guys have to say. I want to hear what you guys had to, went through to get better. It's a very serious topic that we're about to talk about. So, if you're sensitive to talking about death or, your own personal experience with suicide, please do not watch this video. Please do not watch this video. Hello, YouTube. It is TenTillDeath here again, and we're in a different location than usual. Actually, to get to this location, you cannot believe the type of anxiety I had. There was a lot of anxiety just walking here because today is a very special day. On this day, 2 years ago, I should have been dead. And I should have died. Because, I tried to do something that I shouldn't have done, and that was the second time in my life up to that point. And, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here. I don't deserve to be here, but I'm very glad and I'm very thankful that, the Lord's given me another chance, of course. But it's a very special day to me, and I'll explain everything. How we even got to that point 2 years ago, and what we're going to do today. 2 years ago, little over 2 years ago, and 2 years and 1.5 months ago, me and my ex-fiance, we split up. And that decision was initiated by myself, so only I'm to blame, of course. They done no wrongdoing, so there's no reason to ever be mad at them. But, at the time, I didn't know, I thought it would be the best course of action for me, which it was the best course of action for both of us, of course. But, I really didn't know how to handle living my life afterwards. I didn't know, I thought everything was going to be good after we split. I thought everything was just going to get better for me, but no, my life only went downwards. It only went downwards after that, and I fell to alcohol addiction. And at that point, I didn't even know that I was slowly becoming an alcoholic at that point. I had no clue. I didn't even know. And it started actually at the very beginning of 2022 when me and my ex-fiance, when my ex-fiance did try to split up with me that first time, I did slowly start to turn to alcohol around that time. And then when we split, I turned full on to alcohol. That's on me. That's on me. Much better now. But, this day 2 years ago, and really around this time, it wasn't even just this day. There was many times I wanted to die. There was times where I would just close my eyes while I was driving and, hope everything would just end. And specifically on this day 2 years ago, I did try to end it all, and I did try to drink myself to death. Which, of course, I'm still alive because you're viewing this video, of course. But this day is, it means a lot to me. Sorry for the change of location, guys. I'll explain. So, where I was at and, my location originally filming this, apparently there was some people that passed by, a ton of people, and I wasn't expecting anyone to come through right there because it was pretty far off. But, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. So I just decided to come back home, and I was like, well, I guess I'll film the rest of this, here at home. So let's get back to the main discussion here, as what I was saying. So, also we got some incense burning in the background. So, as I was saying, wherever you're at in your life, if you're feeling down, you're feeling depressed, please get help. Please talk to somebody. If you have a job and your job has insurance, please use that insurance to try to seek mental health care in whatever way possible. There's a lot of low cost income based, mental health services because no one deserves to die. No one deserves, You know, no one should ever have to take their life. It should never ever come back down to that, you know? And, you know, I'll pretty much, you know, talk about my story, you know? Uh, it's like I said, I just do not deserve to be here right now. I don't. And 2 years ago, I was in the lowest place ever. The lowest, you know, the very lowest place ever. And unfortunately, you know, I never thought I was going to get out of that place. I never thought there was any hope for me. You know, it's like I was saying, I would come home and I would just get drunk all the time. I could never leave my bed. I would just lay in bed all the time outside of work. I struggled so hard. And I didn't realize at the time, you know, what I was going through. It's crazy, you know, suicidal thoughts, depression. I didn't really realize all of that stuff. I really thought my life would be normal after me and my ex-fiance split, but, you know, apparently it wasn't. Apparently I was wrong. And then, you know, when I did go through my mental health journey come 2023, you know, I realized I was wrong as a person. I realized I really, you know, did treat my ex-fiance horribly, right? But, you know, if me and her didn't split or me and them didn't split at that time, I wouldn't have eventually, you know, gone through that mental health care that I needed to get. And there's still things I'm working on. So, you know, it's a battle every day. It's a battle every day. But really don't deserve to be here right now. And so, like I was saying, please get help. I know you might feel like it's never going to get better. I felt like that for months. I felt like that for months on end. I would try. Then I would try and then, you know, thinking this thing would work or this thing would work. And then I would fall back down again and I would cry. I cried all the time. And sometimes I still cry. Because thinking about that, you know, it hurts. It hurts. And so even you know, I know you feel like things might not get better. There was maybe a time you thought things would never get better, and maybe you're in a better situation now. And I hope you're in a better situation now. But, you know, it's always going to be an uphill battle. Life is always going to be an uphill battle. And that, me saying that, I'm not saying that as a cop-out answer to say, oh, you know, get used to it. No. You know, I'm just telling you, you know, don't ever expect life to never be an uphill battle. It's always going to be an uphill battle. You're always going to fight things. But I want you to understand, when you fight those things and you get knocked down for a bit, it's okay to stay knocked down for a bit. As long as eventually at some point you get back up, whether it's weeks down the line, months down the line, maybe a few years down the line, you finally get back up. And, you know, I didn't realize all that stuff from my, you know, childhood and stuff affected me. And I was really down mentally. I didn't realize after me and my ex-fiance split how much it would knock me down and change me as a person. So wherever you're at right now, like I said, comment your story. Let me hear from you. I want to hear from you guys. But today is a very special day for me. And, you know, 2 years ago, I should have been dead. I should have died. And I'm glad to be here. And does it hurt? Do some days hurt? Yeah, some days hurt. And I've accepted that. I've accepted some days hurt. And I want you to know it's okay for those days to hurt. Sometimes, you know, I'll be at the end of the day and I'm like, oh man, this hurts. But, you know, I wake up the next day and I'm like, well, yesterday wasn't that bad. I'm still alive today. I'm grateful. But, you know, some days still hurt. But I got to wake up and got to keep going. There's a lot of things I love to live for now. And so I hope you, viewer, you find something to live for. Whether it's people, whether it's music, there's a lot of different things I live for. And I try to keep myself alive as much as I can. So, you know, comment your stories down below. But today we're going to celebrate, you know, we're going to celebrate my death from 2 years ago. Or when I was supposed to die 2 years ago. That was the second time. And so I went through my photos because there was one photo, right? So when me and my ex-fiance split, you know, I got rid of almost everything. I think except for the plants. I actually kept the plants and tried to keep them alive. And I became a plant daddy for a bit. Can't lie, the plants were cool. But, you know, I threw away all of our photos and stuff. But there was one photo that I did keep. And I was going to, you know, use that in this video today. But I couldn't find the photo. Can't find it where it originally was, so I have this other photo of me from 1 year ago. And this photo is going to be very symbolic of what we're about to do here. This photo is going to represent me burying the past. So I'm going to burn this photo, and I'm going to put it in here, and we're going to watch it burn together. But this is going to represent me burying the past. This is going to represent me dying. This is my own little metaphor, my own little way of coping. And I know it seems silly. I know it seems very silly, but you'd be surprised by how many coping mechanisms, seem silly, but they're really effective. So even you viewer, if you're glad your past is gone or you want to bury that hatchet, go find an old photo of yourself. Go find an old photo of yourself, reminisce, and burn. And watch it burn. All right. Let me see if we can get this settled. And so this is to celebrate my life. This is to celebrate me being alive today. And I hope you can celebrate being alive. And I hope you can find a reason to continue forward tomorrow. Or maybe the next week. The fight is never over. We're just going to watch it slowly burn together. Maybe I need to burn it a little more. Apparently the photo said it doesn't want to go down. Hey, there we go. Yeah, we're going to have to keep on burning this bad boy. There we go. Finally. It kind of hurts a little bit just to watch, this photo burn, because it's kind of like watching myself die. It's kind of like watching, that part of you die. It needs to be burned a little bit more, but, it hurts. It hurts sometimes to think about all of that stuff you went through as a human being. Life is always going to hurt. Life is always going to hurt. And you can allow it to hurt, and that's okay. You can cry. Sometimes you need to cry to get some stress out. Sometimes you need to cry to get some stress out. But this is to the past. This is saying goodbye to the past. This is saying goodbye to our old self. And just like you, I'm hoping you too, you can say goodbye to your past. To the things that have brought you down. To the things that are haunting you at this moment. To the things that are doing you no good. To the things you just can't let go of. And don't get me wrong, sometimes, that past has come back to haunt me. There's been times this year, and I'll tell you this personally. There's a time where earlier this year I was with my girlfriend, and I was there in the car with her, and me and her were talking, and I started to tear up under my sunglasses, and I told her as I was talking, I'm crying right now. And she's like, what? What do you mean you're crying? And I remember telling her at that moment, I was like, all of those friends I lost over the years, all of those, people I hurt, and I didn't realize I was hurting them. I didn't realize, because of the way I was wronged, all those years, it affected me, and it affected how I was treating people. But it's not just that, as I told her. I was also telling her, knowing the scars I put on people, knowing that there's 2 young women out there that I've traumatized now, right? Knowing that I've permanently affected their livelihoods because I've mentally abused them and emotionally abused them to the point where, it's going to affect their future relationships. And it's going to carry... Dang it, no! The ash thing fell. But, it's going to carry with them throughout the rest of their lives, right? It's going to carry with them throughout the rest of their lives while this is still burning. And it's going to affect their trust in people. It's going to affect maybe their family relationships. They've probably even had nightmares about it and woke up crying from those nightmares. And as I was telling them, there's like me knowing that I caused all that stuff. And I only got to tell one of those people that I'm sorry. But even then, I never got to tell them, to their face. And it hurts. It hurts because you realize, you were a kid. You were being bullied. You were being traumatized. You were being abused. You told yourself you would never become that monster. And there you are. It took you a whole breakup with your ex-fiance to realize you did become that monster. You became the monster you swore you would never become. And that's what hurts. That's what hurts, knowing all those lives you affected. And that's what hurts the most. And there's times, I'm not going to lie, although I've forgiven myself, and even you might have forgiven yourself for whatever past behaviors you've done. But sometimes it does hit your head. Sometimes even though you've forgiven and even though you've moved on from the past, sometimes the guilt does come back. And there's been times where I tell myself I should have died that day. I should have died that day, and so many people would have been happy. But there would have been so many people that would have been sad. But if the good thing is because I didn't die that day, I learned to change my ways. But of course, sometimes you get back off track when you're changing your ways, right? It's never easy. It's never truly easy. And, because I changed my ways, I was able to see the errors of my ways. I was able to see things that my ex-fiance was trying to teach me that entire time we were together. And, now I can see it, and now I was able to teach people, and I was able to change other people's lives. But you also have to think about all the lives that I changed for the worse before I could change for the better. And even then, when I changed for the better, there was times I got off tracks. There's times I made mistakes, but I made sure, to genuinely apologize. So it doesn't get easy. It doesn't get easy. And like I said, I should have died 2 years ago. And then I'll even say I should have died 10 years ago when I'd done my first attempt. But I'm still alive, and I'm glad to be alive. It hurts. It hurts. But there's more to life than the suffering. There's more to life than just the pain you go through. That doesn't mean don't go through that pain. Don't feel that pain. You are obligated to feel that pain. You need to feel that pain sometimes so you can remember what it's like to be human, so you can remember compassion, so you can remember what it's like to feel whole. But there's always going to be more to life than what you know. And so I'd like to thank all of you guys for joining me for this special video. Let me know what you know. Let me hear your stories down below. Let me hear the struggles you're going through. Let me hear the struggles you've gone through. It doesn't get easier, but anyone can change. Anyone. This is not the end of your fight. This is not the end of my fight. Till next time, TenTillDeath out.